Put you to 200.
And then fix my name. 200, yeah.
You're naturally quiet, aren't you?
I think it's just his computer, because he's not that quiet in person.
You're not using the web browser, are you, for Discord?
My mic levels are typically low for my stream, is why.
Note to self: don't stick you and Meta Sigma in the same room. You'll never hear a peep out of you.
Yep.
Well, I think this is the case for anyone.
Yep. I will try to shout the entire time.
Alright,
Please
guys.
don't.
Oh, you've already decided the names, huh?
We have
The champ is
Alright.
here.
So,
John
Dick, you're John Cena.
Yes, sir.
Omega is Bidoof.
Yep.
And Farrell is Reinbach. Should be a good race, gentlemen. Best of luck.
Alright. I think my body is ready.
Is it though?
No, it's not.
No, guys, we'll just sit here. This menu screen.
Great race so far.
Yeah.
3, 2, 1, go.
What's up, everyone? We're gonna have a commentator, but he doesn't like us very much, so I guess he doesn't want to do it anymore.
Yep.
I'm not sure. I'm trying to set up watching all the streams separately, which is not working out properly.
Sounds good. Alright.
I think this should work.
I died in Behemoth at DeuceCon, so I'm gonna totally crit this time. That's how this works.
Pretty sure it is.
Ha! I
Yo,
got crit
miss.
first turn.
Woo!
Yo, I got crit second turn. Sick.
Yo, but I crit him on the second turn. What the hell,
If
dude?
I don't crit here, I'm dead, dude. Come on, man. That's not how this is supposed to work.
Best game. Alright, we got through.
Bidoof carrying me to victory.
John Cena, man. It's alright. John Cena always starts off hitting him, and he makes him come back at the end, so it's all good.
To reconfirm who is who, so John Cena is Big.
Yep.
Reinbach is Magus.
Reinbach is me.
Carol? Okay, so Magus is Bidoof. Okay.
Yep.
Perfect. The switching browser did it. Okay. Nice. Okay, so Final Fantasy Mystic Quest. Well, so while these guys are racing, I'm just gonna try to explain like what's going on. It's not very fast-paced game, so it should not be that big of a problem. So yeah, for those people who have not seen the game before or heard of it, so it's obviously for the Super Nintendo, and it's kind of a beginner's RPG that basically introduces people to the genre, or wants to introduce people to the genre, and basically puts everything at the very most simple way to play an RPG. Already starts with the party group, so you can only have a maximum of 2 people in your party right now. So they already had their first dungeon or forest, which they completed by killing the Minotaur. And right now they have all got their second character, which is Tristan. And basically your AI partner always comes with a fixed inventory, with a fixed weapon, and basically with fixed status points in general. So if you gain experience, your party member does not get them. So your party member always is a fixed level and has a fixed, like basically everything is fixed. You cannot change your party member in terms of equipment or anything. And that having that said, your party member usually is pretty strong. So they decided to make them a level which is pretty high, and because of that, they're just gonna fight all the enemies. All the enemies they're gonna fight, they want to have basically kill within 1 turn. So they're aiming to look for fights which have 1 or 2 enemies. If they get a 3 enemy encounter, like Feral just did, they're just gonna run away, and they get a chance to get the same battle which can still have 1 or 2 enemies. So if in this dungeon, if they get 3 enemies, they will just run away, because it's still faster if you run away and get another encounter with 2 or 1 enemy than to just having fight 3 enemies. So in protagonist, like we just got the bombs. So there are 4 weapons in the entire game: the sword, the axe, the claw, and the bomb. And we just got the bombs, and the bombs are pretty strong. Not only are they pretty strong, but they also have the very, very good thing to them that they have a 100% hit chance, which is very important in some cases. So even if you're blinded, which gives you a significant like chance to miss, you will still hit with the bombs regardless. That is very important. And just like we saw on Big Stream right now, so that's the worst thing that can happen to you right here. So if you get a 2 encounter battle and Tristan misses, your bombs will not do enough damage to kill both skeletons, because AoE damage basically gets split between all the enemies. So you would one-shot a single enemy, but if Tristan misses his attack with his stars, with his shurikens, you're not going to do enough damage to kill both, and then you're just going to lose a lot of time. So basically in this game, a lot of time you will lose is because of either like missing attacks, or just because your enemy is like critting you or something at this point.
Right. Oh, I'm not interrupting too much here, but we just got a huge donation from Wells JC, $250.
Dang, son.
Wow.
Yes, and he says it goes to the runner's choice, meaning whatever all of you can agree on.
I'm gonna go with Demon Chocobo.
I don't agree to that at all.
Alright, fine. How about honks? Cause so there's already $20 towards no honks. God knows why.
I can support honks.
Honks is good.
$250 to honks. Okay, I think that's not gonna get me any day.
I'm perfectly okay with that. Honks should survive.
meanwhile, every one of them picked up an item which is what's called the magic seed, and basically how magic works in this game is rather than having a mana pool with mana points to spend on every spell, you basically get 3 categories: white, black, and wizard. Each category has 4 spells, and you just get a amount of spells you can cast from this category. And using a magic seed basically replenishes every pool, like every magic pool. So coming up is the second boss. It's the Flamerous Rex, which is considerably for the first part. This is like a really hard boss. For the main reason that your attack is basically cure. You can only cure. You can cast cure on him because he's undead, and he will do enough more damage. But he has some pretty heavy attacks which can easily kill both of you. The thing at the start is you cannot revive your party members. So if the Flamerous Rex decides to kill your like Tristram right here, the fight is basically over. And having only fought all the necessary enemies and not any additional enemies, you will fight this boss with level 4. So you only have 160 health points, which is really low, and you will usually die to 2 attacks of him. The worst attack he can do is Earthquake, which does like 80 damage to both, or Riptide it's called. It's really bad. You really want some crits from Tristram here, and you definitely do not want him to miss. So right now it's looking kind of okay. Big already, no actually it's Feral. Feral already done with the fight, very good fight from him. And Magus as well. We'll see if Big can catch up, but it's looking good for him. So you can see that the boss sprite is changing depending on how much damage you did to him. And you can tell how much damage you did just by figuring out, okay, he's close to death, so you can just go for it. So actually very good. Well, fairly good fight. Basically, I would in a marathon setting, I would say if you don't die to the boss, it's a good fight. it can go
any day, yeah.
It can go better or worse, but all 3 people not having died there and not having terrible luck from what I've seen is actually quite remarkable. And this boss is like, if you regularly run this game, this boss is like the first really hard reset point where you will reset quite often here. And also, yeah, you will basically skip reviving your partner for the entire time. Basically, if your partner is dead, the fight is over, because usually your team member or your partner is, in most cases, much stronger than you because he has a much higher level. Because you're not supposed to skip all the enemies. Well, you could, because they will. Because also for the entire game, they will not fight any unnecessary enemies. So they will only fight those enemies which are directly in the way of, well, proceeding the dungeon. So absolutely no additional enemies will be fought, with the exception of one battlefield, but that just saves a lot of time. I will get to that a little bit later. So right now everyone is going back, and on the way back they will actually pick up a steel shield on the way back, because you got the bombs. You will not pick, you do not want to pick this up before, because you would have to go back and that just wastes time. So yeah, if you find some stuff like equipment, it gets equipped automatically. You cannot change your equipment per se. It's just that if you find a better equipment for that slot, it will automatically get replaced. So yeah, once again, it's very simple in that way. Also, just want to note that on their way back, everyone picked up the cure potions. That will come in. I will explain that in just a little bit, but it's pretty important in which order you pick up your items. There's not much to say about the story. It's like the very basic storyline that everyone knows. So the world is in danger, and you need to like. There are the 4 crystals of the 4 elements to, or the 4 coins you need to retrieve it to restore balance to the world and all that.
And your allowance is 2 GP, very important plot point.
Allowance is
2 GP a month.
per month, indeed.
Per month, damn. It's like what I make now, dude.
By the way, we just received an $18 donation from Francis, otherwise known as, I believe, Volt, in chat. says, I don't understand unrounded numbers, but I do understand totally not dead princesses. Also, I heard Dale's a good guy, so give him $3 to reduce the pain he gets when beaten. Thank you.
So, on our way to this very icy part of the map, they meet their next character, which is Phoebe, which is debatably, but I want to say the strongest partner you will get. Basically, you are set to get every partner twice in the game. So right now they already at the third partner, and you will stick to Phoebe for a fairly long time right now. And right now she only has the claw equipped, but she has some pretty good magics which will almost one-shot every enemy here. Ideally you want to have the same enemy for the entire fight. So right here they both Feral and Magus got 3 scorpions, which is good because you can just leave your partner on auto. So that's another thing I haven't talked about. You can leave your partner on auto, which will basically make them do whatever they feel is the perfect situation right now, or the perfect move right now. And if all the enemies are the same, they will cast fire on everyone, which basically saves you the time to menu. Because if you don't get, if you get different enemies, you have to input that manually. It's just a little bit, but yeah.
It does add up over time.
Yeah, it does. It really does. It doesn't seem like much, but just having to input that manually just gives you a little bit more time. Also, after having fallen down here, you will get the claw from Phoebe, and she will equip the bow, which is considerably stronger than the claw. Now you have all the 4 weapons available. One thing I have not talked about, and I don't know if everyone did it already, so they got the magic seed, and there is a way to dupe an item in this game. So they got, out of the chest, they got 3 magic seeds, but there is a way to dupe the item and get 1 additional item every time. So you basically use the item with your first character, with your main character, so that it basically gets reduced to 2 because it's been ordered to use it, but then with having the secondary character on manual, you just escape out of the fight, and basically you get the seed back from having not used it, but the game does not recognize that you actually got the one back, so it gives you 1 additional item. That's just the basic gist about it. So you can just get an additional item out of that, and they want to do that 2 times because they need 2 extra seeds in order to have enough magic for the next couple dungeons. And since you cannot pick anything up, this is really important. Coming up on both Feral and Magus, they're both pretty much at the same fight. This is probably the most dangerous fight in this cave, because they have the tendency to use Riddle, and Riddle is basically confused, and if that, in just Feral's case, if that hits your main character, this can get really out of hand very quickly. So you can just see both characters are confused, and Feral deciding to run away here, this is completely fine. Because if you stick to being confused, it's very, very bad. These the centaurs can just hurt a lot. And if you're confused, you don't have any actions, so running away here is definitely an option. The bad thing about this is just that Feral already used his Earthquake, so he's missing 1 spell, which can be a little bit, it's gonna slow him down just a little bit. Yeah, the centaur fights are definitely the most dangerous fights in this dungeon.
Oops.
Dying in this game is not that terrible. You basically just get to redo the fight as if nothing happened. Of course, you lose the time, but that's in general. If you play through this casually, there's no real game over. You can decide to load the last save file as well, but usually you can just repeat the fight over and over again, nothing happens. Meanwhile, they're just plowing through all the enemies. So yeah, on Feral you can see that he decides to use the axe, which is the reasonable solution to this, because usually you would use an Earthquake here, but since he he forcefully used it already because he was confused. He had to do different strats here. It is very advantageous if you have 3 of the same enemy, because you can usually just put Phoebe on auto here and she will do the right thing to just instantly kill every enemy.
Calculated.
And usually you want to attack with the bombs, as they are right now they're by far the strongest weapon you get, and as I said, they already have 100% hit chance. Coming up on Magus is the next boss, which is fairly easy. I want to say one thing, there are no easy bosses in this game, but this one is probably one of the more easier one of the more straightforward fights. You basically just take out the birds just by using thunder and bombs, and they will die instantly. And after that, you just basically just flat out just attack the boss and hope that he does not blind Phoebe. That is probably the worst thing you can do, or can crit you twice. So you basically will just attack, and even if your character dies, I will assume that Magus will still continue to attack. He will just do that, because he cannot do that much damage. Like, the most damage he can do with one attack would probably be a crit with like 200. But you just attack with Phoebe and hope that you crit at some point and not miss, basically. So that was still an okay fight. It could have been better, of course, if
It can always be
Benjamin
better
lived.
in this game, but
Yeah,
that was okay.
yeah.
I'll take it.
Fairly decent fight for Magus, and Feral and Big both on the Squidite as well. As I said, the worst thing that can happen is having Phoebe blinded. If Benjamin gets blinded, it's not a big deal because he uses bombs and will hit regardless. But you do not want Phoebe to miss. And ideally she crits, because if she crits, that does like 680 damage. Just really, really good. Actually, fairly good fights, I want to say, like decent fights for both.
Yeah, there was nothing wrong with mine aside from no crits. Well, one crit. But...
You just cannot hope for crits. Like, usually you will not get the crits you want.
My first 2 attacks were crits, so I'm pretty cool with that.
Nice.
This guy, dude.
What a guy. What a guy.
Another thing, the bombs cannot crit, but yeah, as I said, usually you want to stick to having 100% hit chance rather than having to hope for crits. There is one exception, maybe in the next boss fight. I don't know. There are different strats for a couple of fights, but usually they get the same like approach. So also one thing is that every weapon you get has a different or has a very specific use in the outer world. So with the claw, you can just see that you can climb these vines, these, well, I don't know what they are called, but you can climb those things if you see the certain things on the wall. With the axe, you can chop down trees. With the sword, you can activate switches, and with the bombs, you can blow up like walls and yeah, basically like locked doors or stuff like that, or just obstacles in general. So that's a very cool thing, actually. You just get the I think it's called wake water or stuff like that, which basically is supposed to heaten up the lake and like give the city access to water again. But it basically just revives the plant, but it's not really doing anything. So they basically have to decide to go into the ice pyramid to, yeah, restore the water balance. Mag is already inside the very shortish wintry cave, which has a small puzzle to it, and yeah, first, if you're playing through this casually, you might get a little bit confused. Actually, even if you speedrun this, you might get a little bit confused. But
So I've heard.
I've heard rumors about some people, but I don't know. It's basically very straightforward. It's actually a pretty cool thing. You have to push these statues into certain directions or into certain positions so that you can jump over them from other directions. And you basically just go through them. So you kill the enemies which are blocking the statues, the ice statues, and then you just continue. So Magus with the good encounter here, so he just gets 2 snakes so you can keep Phoebe on auto. If you get 2 snakes and an additional water hack there, it's bad because you have to use an additional turn with Benjamin. So right here is just doing a little shortcut. Usually you're supposed to push these statues inside and go a little bit around, but you can skip two fights by pushing them into certain positions. Magus is doing it right now. I actually don't know if it was intended this way, but it just works out.
No,
So
it wasn't.
I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure it's not intended. He's picking up the healing spell because it's right on the way, basically, and you can cure some stupid stuff with it. So it's convenient to pick it up. Okay, next boss fight coming up on Magus and shortly on the other guys as well. Snow Crab, pretty dangerous boss. It can screw you over in numerous ways. The worst thing it can do is confuse. So confuse is basically your worst nightmare right now. And basically you only want to cast Thunder with Phoebe, and there are 2 strats to it. You can either use the axe, which Magus is doing. So he's vulnerable to axes, to the axe, and it does more damage, but it has a chance to miss. So it's kind of risky, but it does more damage if you hit it over the bombs. And if you hit all the thunders and all the axe hits, you can basically just go straight forward, and this should work out even with the miss. Yeah, okay, it should be fine.
Yeah, I was worried too.
So the thing about the bosses is just in general, sometimes when you don't expect it, the bosses can just go before you. So the speed is a little bit, well, not a little bit, it's actually very random. So you just saw that Phoebe usually goes before the boss, but in some cases the boss suddenly goes before Phoebe even, and then that can screw you over just a little bit. Actually, screw you very hard, but yeah. So looking at the other guys, Feral using the bombs here, it's more like, I want to say convenient because you can just get guaranteed damage. But yeah, if you get bad damage rolls like here, you have to cure yourself because otherwise he can just basically kill you, which just happened on Big's stream here, and Big getting confused again, which is really bad. I think Benjamin confused is not the worst thing, but it's missing some damage, especially if it's early on. And this is the worst thing that can happen. So having Phoebe confused here, you can either just use heal on her, and Big actually getting really lucky that Phoebe is not using spells on his own party, and actually getting the heal off, so that is very good. So he just barely survives this. That's actually like really dangerous. So you just saw Phoebe being confused and Phoebe used fire 2 times on him. That could have gone way worse if Phoebe just decides to use like a spell on both your characters. That would basically be a death right there. So you just barely survived that.
Yeah, that was not amazing, but at least I didn't die.
Kinda clutch. So coming up on the ice pyramid, there is a special trait to this. You can see that you cannot see any enemies. So all the enemies in this, but basically I want to say that none of the enemy encounters in the entire game are random. You can see all the enemies on the screen and they will never move. Right now in the ice pyramid, all the enemies are invisible. So if they get an encounter, it's not a random encounter, but rather it's because it's a stationary enemy which is just invisible right now. And since none of the enemies is random, so if they go into an enemy encounter, they know which type of enemy they will fight. They just don't know how, like, there can be different formations, but the basic enemy is always the same. So you can have like 3 water hacks or 2, but it's always going to be water hacks. And since they never change, there is an item you can pick up in this dungeon, which basically reveals all the enemies. But yeah, since they are stationary and they do not change at all, there is absolutely no need to pick it up. It's just a time waste since, yeah, as I said, you can just go through there without having to see them, because you know they're there. Dungeon does not have that many difficult encounters per se, but it's more like the difference in time is basically, or if you will gain time or lose time, is basically more about what enemy formations you will get. So if you will get like so many different enemy encounters where you have to use multiple turns, it will just waste a lot of time in total.
Yeah, the most dangerous one here probably are the birds, because they can petrify you.
That's true. They do that very rarely, but it's also like the only enemy where you don't have a weak spot for them. So I want to say every enemy, almost every enemy has like kind of a weak spot or a weak spell, weak elemental type, weak weapon, whatever. Almost every enemy has a weakness to it. And you have the solution to almost anything right now, because Phoebe has a lot of spells available. So you can see the water hacks, they just die to a fire, to an AoE fire. So as you can see with Magus right here, he's fighting 2 water hacks, he's just leaving Phoebe on auto, and she will automatically cast fire on both, which is gonna instantly kill them. If you get 3 water hacks, like you see in Big Stream right now, you have to throw bombs after that, but that's still fine. With the birds, however, they are weak to the bow, but since you cannot like multi-target the bow, you have to pick them out manually. And it's a little bit tedious, but there is no way around that right now. You have to take 2 turns on that one. Yeah, other than that, the entire ice pyramid is straightforward. It's fairly long because you have to go through multiple floors, but yeah, you just have to fight a lot of enemies. It's kind of tedious at this point, but it's that many different enemies as well. Most of the time you fight water hacks, the birds, the wizards, or the snakes. That's almost all the enemies, except for like later you'll also fight a very nasty other enemy. This is also the reason why they need the extra seeds. And they also did dupe exactly to 5 seeds specifically, not one more, not one less, and that will be explained in a very short time.
You could easily do more, you would just have to use them.
Yeah, that's true. If you do it correctly, you don't need more, so... And since you have to, with duping you have to like waste an entire fight, so it's kind of unnecessary to do more.
Riddle!
Okay, so yeah, this is the fight I was talking about. So there's one fight which has these sphinx in them, and this is, well, probably the most dangerous fight in this entire ice pyramid. So again, like this, just like the centaurs, they have the tendency to, actually not the tendency, they will always use riddle. I say always. Oh, this is really bad because, okay, so Phoebe missed, which made Benjamin not hit with his bombs. Like, it did not do enough damage to kill all the enemies. And yeah, Magus decided to run away here because I think he does not have any more thunders, or he just doesn't want to use them, which is both fair. So that's okay. So all the players make sure, all the runners make sure to use up their seed to get the final healing. There is a chest which contains 3 healing potions, and the way the items get put into your inventory is, well, it's very simple. Like, the first item you pick up goes into the first slot, and you have to imagine that your inventory is put in a way that the top row, there are 4 restorative items which you can manually use in fight. And the 4 items being the magic seed, which I've already talked about, the healing potions, which will just heal you. Actually, no, the healing potions will heal status ailments. The cure potions will heal hit points. And there is another which is called a refresher.
Refreshers.
And actually, it's like completely useless. It's basically it refreshes stuff like speed down and like stuff like that. It's useless. It doesn't need anything important. And they made sure that they got the seeds in the first slot, and they picked up the items very specifically after that. So they picked up the cure potions, after that the refresher, and after that the heal potions. And then they used up all their magic seeds. So the first slot is empty right now, which is going to be important in just a moment to set up a very big and mandatory glitch for the game.
Very big indeed.
Yeah, very big.
Alright,
so right now they're just moving through here. They also picked up the ice armor, which is gonna give them a little bit of additional armor and protect them against ice attacks. It will give them a resistance to ice attacks. It will not protect them entirely, but while it is kind of a detour, it is definitely. But it just helps so much for the entire game. There's actually no way you can survive the remaining game without that.
The
And
big
especially
thing
the
is really
next fight.
Ice Golem.
Yeah, you will just
Because Ice Golem can one-shot you if you don't have the noble armor. You don't want to be in like a life infinite.
Okay. Mag is coming up on the last couple enemies. All these enemies right here are 2 Sphinx and 1, I think it's called Gather, or the Eye. So the strategy is just to use Thunder and hope that Benjamin goes before the Sphinx and throws his bombs. If not, they get used to use Riddle, and if they riddle both of you, bad things can happen. So last fight coming up for Magus. Thunder and Riddle. Okay, but strangely, I actually don't know the reason for that, but the first riddle will always hit Phoebe. I don't know why, but it always hits Phoebe.
They
100%.
prioritize the character with the higher level, that's my guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, it will always hit your partner first. No matter who does it as well. Like, it's not only these things.
So Mag is coming up on Ice Golem, and he's actually level 10 still, which is a little bit worse. So usually you want to be level 11 here. And
Yeah,
I think
right.
he just misclicked. Yeah. Okay. So I think he used okay. He used the healing spell. So basic strategy in this fight is just to use fire with Phoebe and throw bombs with Benjamin. That's like the entire time. The more ice blocks he throws, the better it is, because that's like his, well, almost his weakest attack. He can also use sleep, and if he casts sleep on Phoebe, that's the best thing that can happen, because Phoebe is immune to sleep. But Mag is having decent luck, because as I said, the ice block is doing fairly low damage. You can survive 2 ice blocks, so that's really good.
When Benjamin goes before Ice Golem.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's completely random. You just saw Benjamin has a really low status and like agility stats, so he should go after the Ice Golem, but right in the next turn the Ice Golem just went first, so there is actually no guaranteed way to tell if you go first or not. Okay, so once the Ice Golem hits his final stage, he's more likely to cast the the life draining attack, which you just see right here. It does a lot of damage, like it does like 140 damage to both characters and heals.
Fingers crossed, boys.
And at this point, since he's so... Oh,
Sorry.
that is very bad. Yeah, okay. So Magus just went for it, which is completely reasonable, because I think the Ice Golem was just 1 attack away from being dead.
Yeah, he was dead.
So...
And I mean,
that
even
was-
if I would have selected heal, I would have died.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
he
There was no way to rescue, to save that. You just saw like the worst thing. It's just like you just go attack and attack and attack, and then all of a sudden he goes first and just screws you over. So yeah, there's that. Feral also being at the boss, also level 10. It's just Big actually only being the only one which is level 11, and it has the advantage that you have 40 more hit points, and you can survive another hit if he decides to use his
Oh
strongest attack.
shit! bichCHOKE!
Oh no!
He didn't
Did you fall
jump!
down?
He didn't
Oh,
jump!
no!
Oh god.
What the hell, man? I've never done that, dude.
Oh
I've
my,
never
okay,
done
that
that.
is very bad. Okay, that.
Dude.
Okay, so it's like really bad, but it's not the end of the world. So he just has to fight one extra enemy, and he has to move the entire way again, which is probably gonna cost him like a minute, I want to say. And yeah, it's probably gonna be a minute. He doesn't have to fight any additional enemies, but that should not happen. That is a pretty big choke.
Dude, I had the B button.
That shouldn't happen. Alright,
Meanwhile,
let's
Feral
try
with a
again
good
here.
fight, and Magus being at the same situation again. And usually at this point, you just want to go for it.
Die?
So
Question mark?
Ben being dead, but he should die from this attack. Okay, he's dead. Yeah.
I
You
lost
just-
like 2 minutes here.
You just have to risk it at some point. There's no use in curing or just like.
The thing is, if he's
Something
one hit
like that.
away from death, whether you cure or not, if he goes before you, you're done. Like, you can either kill him or you heal yourself and waste a turn, you know? So you
Exactly.
just gotta go for it. It makes no sense to do anything else.
So big after that big choke going into the fight. It's not the end of the world. There are worse parts where you can fall down and lose much more time. But
Unbelievable,
yeah,
dude.
that's just you gotta just get all the highlights out.
He's just giving us a chance to
Yeah, I know.
so we can actually beat him. I mean, he is a champion
fine.
after all.
He is the champion. And his name.
John
so just,
Cena.
Give you a short reminder. The inventory of all the 3 runners is currently right now empty slot because all of them used all their magic seeds, then the cure potions, then the refreshers, and at last the health potions. That's just the current state right now. So the first slot of the inventory is empty right now. Okay, so while the other Feral and Magus are just going out of the dungeon, which you still have to do manually because you don't have the exit spell, which is going to change in a very short time, we just see Big getting a fairly good fight, I want to say right now, because the Ice Golem actually is deciding, I think this is the first time he used his life draining attack.
He used
and
it like
he should
4
already be
times,
dead.
but yeah.
Yeah, okay. Good fight for Big, I want to
But I had a
say.
good fight, yeah.
Catching up,
So-
boys.
On the other side, Feral entering the exit battlefield. So this is the only additional, not mandatory enemies you want to fight, but it gives you the best spell you can. Well, it's the most important spell in speedrun wise. So you get the exit spell, and there are 2 enemy formations you can get here. The one Magus just got is the single squid. This is the one you want to fight. So. Every battlefield, there are these random battlefields. You can, in casual plays, you're just supposed to kill them, and you can grind there, and you can basically it gives you a reward at the end if you clear the battlefield. You get a spell or an item or just anything, or just nothing at all. Sometimes I don't know. It doesn't matter. So you have to clear only 10 enemies here, and it's either the single squid, which is good because you can just one-shot it with your bombs, or it's the squid alongside it with the Sphinx. And I think this is already the 3rd Sphinx fight for Feral. And
There
the
is.
first one for Magus as well. The thing is with
Oh,
with
baby.
a squid. Oh, that's the 2nd in a row. Oh, Feral. Oh my god. Dude. Okay, this is you should keep
This
count.
is it. This is it, dude.
Glad
I'm
we
getting
delivered.
perfect battlefield, dude. Perfect.
Okay, so both getting
Dude.
oh my god, dude. Both getting ridiculous luck. Really, really bad.
This
so
is why
the
Big
thing
fell
is-
down, he manipulated the battlefield.
The thing is, if you get
Next level.
the squid and the Sphinx, you're almost guaranteed to get a back attack, and you cannot defeat this battlefield with a single alone,
Are you kidding?
because you will always get confused by the Sphinx, and there's no way you can do that. So you can just run away and have to hope that you just get better luck next time. And Magus and Feral both with really atrocious
Ooh,
luck.
This is
I think
it, dude.
already
This
the
is it. Right here.
I gotta
the
keep it together now.
Right here. Right here.
So
Right here.
just to give you an idea of how many Sphinx encounters you are supposed to get, I want to say three Sphinx battles is decent.
Average, yeah.
Everything above 4 is really bad.
Is 6 any good?
6 is really bad.
How many? What's your record, Jenya? Didn't you have a highlight?
My record, I
with,
think it's 13. I actually got 13. That was pretty cool, actually.
That was amazing.
I think Farrell already has like 7, right? 6 or
Coming
7.
for you,
I think.
Jenya.
I have
Like,
I got 7.
5.
Oh, 5, okay.
Yeah,
Coming for you,
it
Jenya.
calmed down after the beginning.
So they got the exit spell, which has 2
Oh, they
purposes. You can first time on the one hand you can exit out of dungeons immediately, which is really good because you don't have to walk out, and you can also instantly, well, get enemies out of battle. So you basically kill them, but you don't get any experience for that. But it doesn't matter. But it's very strong. Basically, it's an instant kill if you hit it. Meanwhile, Big having a very smooth battlefield.
You almost caught up.
expected.
Shut the fuck up, Jenya, dude. Oh, sorry, my bad. Man, you ruined it, dude. You fucking ruined it.
Alright, you can thank me later for jinxing. It's okay.
Come on, man. I had 8 in a row, dude.
Sorry, dude. Sorry. I just had
Dude,
to
he
say it.
almost caught up to me. What the hell?
Dude, the manipulation is amazing.
Okay, so just to say, okay, so there is a very major glitch coming up right now, which skips a huge portion of the entire game. So I already told you about the inventory right now, the inventory setup. So it turns out you can also buy items in shops in cities, and they're just gonna buy. It turns out you can also buy 0 of an item, and they're just gonna do right that. And by buying 0 of an item and using that actually in the inventory, you basically underflow the next slot of the inventory, and it gets converted to 255, I think, cure potions. Health potions. If you then buy a certain amount of cure potions, your inventory gets completely thrown over and you get a very specific item. So they're going to buy 19 cure potions, and that will give them instant access to all the key items they will need for the entire rest of the game. So they just basically glitched the entire inventory. Like the inventory is basically set up with the binary system, and by buying a very specific amount of potions, which the game cannot handle because it doesn't have any space in the top row for the cure potions. It basically underflows the rest of the items, and you can get, like as I said, specific items which you will normally have to fight for the entire time. So one of those items being the fire coin. So they just skipped a quite tremendous part of the game.
Yeah, the fortunate part about getting the fire coin like this is that there's absolutely no solar triggers in Fireberg whatsoever that you actually need to activate in order to progress. You can just get the coin and go. Whereas in the area we're headed to, Windia, that's not quite the case there, unfortunately. I wish it were, but it's not.
Just got annihilated by the single mummy, which is also a pretty bad encounter, but it happens. It actually happens quite a lot that you die here. So just to give you an idea, they just skipped 3 entire dungeons. One of the dungeons being probably almost the longest of the entire game, I want to say.
It's up there. It's like 13
It's like the volcano is really long, and it's also really confusing to go through there. And comparing to when we didn't discover this glitch, we used to have to go through there. You just save roughly like 30 minutes of the game, I want to say.
Yeah, the good thing though, back when we went through there, we actually got the life spell, and
True, that's true.
That is useful on some bosses. I don't know.
Okay. So yeah, with having to skip all the fire sections, they also skipped getting the life spell. So the main character will not have any means of reviving other party members or your partner, basically. So you also skip, like, you don't even meet Ruben, so yeah, he just pops out of nowhere, as you can see in Big Stream right here. It's actually not really bad, because Ruben is pretty bad.
Dude, he was my favorite character, casually.
Ruben is just like, he hits like a truck, but he doesn't have any spell. Well, at this point right now, he doesn't have any spells. In my opinion, he's debatably a little bit better than Tristan, but I don't recall him very good.
Okay, he's definitely better than Tristan. Tristan sucks.
Tristan is really bad. So coming up on both Magus and Feral is the little forest section. It's not really that many enemies, but those fights can be pretty stupid because the mummies can actually like petrify you, and if they do, you're gonna have a bad time. Oh my god, you can see a Magus stream right now. So he's getting pretty much annihilated right now. What you want to do is you want to cast Exit, because it actually, as I said, it instantly kills the enemies. It doesn't give you experience, but you really do not care about experience at all at this point. You could be exiting every single spell and you wouldn't care that much. Well, almost.
Bye.
Oh my god.
God, dude.
What
So
a bad
luck.
fight.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, these mummies can be really devastating at this point.
They shouldn't be. Like, it's ridiculous
But
how lucky they got there.
they can be. So you just have to exit the mummies. The thing is, Tristan does not do enough damage to even kill the mummies in 2 hits. He would need 3 hits to kill them. So you definitely have to use exit on them. Whereas the ghosts, Tristan, without... Normally you get Tristan one-shots him if he doesn't get like a debuff on him.
Yeah, these ghosts have no debuff, unfortunately. They can power down your characters, and then Tristan can't one-shot them anymore. It's pretty funny. By funny, I mean it's BS, but that's what I...
Exactly. Okay, so Feral already being out like a long time ago, just getting ahead just a little bit here, having a very smooth forest. He just has to go back and... Luckily, I want to say luckily, because I in my opinion, Tristan is just the worst character. I don't know. It just like... He doesn't do very much and he just sucks. I don't know. He doesn't hit very hard and he doesn't have that many spells.
He can't even protect my guy. Gets
So-
petrified right away.
Fortunately, you only keep him for 5 battles here, and then he gets off again. He goes off again. So he gives you, just as you're leaving, he gives you the Dragon Claw, which is pretty good because it actually has a lot of like a chance to petrify your enemies. You can just instantly kill them if it hits, but you will just not use that very often since, well, Exit has a guaranteed chance to destroy, like, if it hits, but yeah. So you're just going down there and then exiting out and then getting Kaylee again. So Kaylee just recovered from her poisonous attack with the Minotaur at the start. And just gonna get there, and if you just look at, like, Feral just picking up Kaylee right now, you can just see how big the level difference is, and having skipped 3 entire dungeons, you can see that you're, well, you're just a little bit under level, let's just put it that way.
Just a bit.
Just a bit, but as I said, it doesn't really matter, since it doesn't matter if you're level 1 or level 500, your exit will, if you don't die, it will hit, and then you will just kill the enemy, so it doesn't matter.
You can miss with exit.
Yeah, you can, okay, but it doesn't matter if you're level 1 or level, that's just what I'm saying. The level doesn't matter for that.
I'm not sure about the hit rate.
We'll never know.
Ish.
We'll never know. Because
Well,
I
I don't
missed twice, but it's whatever. Ah.
Say it doesn't make a difference, but okay, but it's okay. It doesn't really matter. So you saw Feral just going out and then going back inside again. That's because you need the arrow spell. And if you're wondering why just not go right here right away, it's because if you use the exit spell, you just get, since this focus tower has multiple exits, you get teleported out to the spot where you just last entered it. And since you want to go, if he just went right out and back inside again, so that he exits on the correct sides. And Feral, Big and Magus actually being completely synchronized right now.
Dude, what?
Like really, it's like my books is almost synchronized, like half second maybe.
Oh my god.
But yeah, in this game, I just want to say, like, this game, nothing is said ever said, and until it's done.
Oh yeah, it ain't over till it's over.
It's over until it's over.
Can't wait to get floor 2 again.
Okay, so having Kaylee in your party helps a lot, and you will actually keep Kaylee for a long time.
See?
That was actually a very sweet thing. Haven't seen that one in a while, so double petrification. double petrification, very very cool.
Nice, dude. But at least that's fast, you know? It's like...
It is fast, that's true.
doesn't
Better that
make
way
you wait.
than having the enemies like keeping paralyzing you or sleeping you. Having Katie in your party is very good because she has a very good amount, or basically she has arrow. That's just like the big part about this entire dungeon. Almost every enemy in this entire dungeon is weak to arrow. And yeah, the entire tree, like this dungeon, it's like the deco tree basically. You enter the deco tree and it's full of monsters, and as I said, like almost all of them have weakness to arrow, and it does quite a lot of damage actually. And since we picked up arrow as well with Benjamin, you can just cast arrow on all 3 enemies, and if you're lucky enough, you can go before the ghost, which just happened to Feral, which actually never happens, but it just happened to him. So that
Easy.
Another thing is, it is actually kind of important which weapon you have equipped when taking your turn. So if you have the claw equipped, you get 5 additional, and a 5 magic damage, magic status point boost, so you get boosted by 5. If you have the sword, you get an agility boost of 5. I think the axe is like a strength boost of 5, and the bomb just doesn't do well. It has a 100% hit chance. I guess that's the trait to it. I think it's like that. You never use the axe though, so it's almost never. It doesn't really matter though. So yeah, you want to have the sword equipped almost every time because you want to be just that little bit faster. Most of the time it will not do anything, but yeah, sometimes you're just faster than the enemies, and that will help you a lot. So yeah, most of these fights are just gonna be Benjamin is gonna use exit, and Katie is just gonna either use the axe if it's feral choking. That's nice.
I thought it was there, dude.
So Katie's either gonna use the axe if it's a tree and it's weak to it, or use arrow. It depends.
Nice critical. Feral face choke. That doesn't make sense.
Feral face choke?
I don't endorse that at all.
Not real choke.
This tree is very long. I want to say it's also one of the longest dungeons in the game.
It's probably the longest actually.
Well, it depends on whether you get a good floor, I guess. But yeah, it's probably the longest. With a very series of very stupid fights. So Feral just entered what we like to call the worm marathon or worm gauntlet, or you want to call it. So there's I think it's 12 or 11. I don't know. Might actually be 11 or 10. Worm encounters in a row, and every worm encounter has a chance to either spawn 2 or 3 worm encounters on the first part. If you get just two worms, it's perfect because you can just arrow both of them and they will both die with Katie. You will just not waste any time. So what you're seeing on Feral here is actually the perfect route here. So I hope everyone is making notes. That's
Incredible.
Quite rare. Yeah, that's quite rare to only you only got 5 encounter. No, it's actually 4. I think it's 4.
4.
So in this next section, there's also another possibility to have like this: 2 worms and an ooze. There are two ways you can deal with this. You can either just do it like Feral is doing right now, so he's deciding to fight, which I probably would not have done because Benjamin was very low, but it's okay. Just gonna waste a little bit of time. But you can also run away and hope for a better encounter. Of course, it has the risk that you will get it again, but yeah, it's 2 different strategies for that. So yeah, ideally you want to have the 2 worms, because that's by far the fastest. If you get the 3 worms, you just have to waste an additional turn. You see right here, Magus getting the 3 worms. You can also, there are 2 different strategies to it. You can either use arrow on with both characters on everything, or you can just single target everything, which is both.
75% for 2 worms in the first round. Hiya.
Sounds fake.
I agree. Clearly
And we
100%.
just received a $25 donation from Ghoul. Says this goes
Okay,
to
so
Farrell's choice of the
Trying to keep
first.
track of everything. Magus having 1. Oh no, that's the second actually. That's very bad. It doesn't. It may not seem like much, but you actually lose a lot of time if you get 3 worms here. Basically, a 2 worm encounter is like over in 5 seconds. You use arrow and they die. That's basically all there is to it. Katie will always move first here.
You want to let Ozzy read a donation comment?
Of course, sorry.
Yeah, $25 from Ghoul says this goes to Farrell's choice of the first, second, or third place in the race's donation. And
Into it, just
call your shot, Farrell.
I think you gotta mute it, that's why you can't hear it. I don't know why.
That's weird.
Yeah,
Or
so
the
I'm
first, second,
not
or place.
exactly understanding what he means by that, Farrell.
I
So,
also don't understand. But,
either way, it sounds like he wants you to pick where the money goes to.
well, in that case, it's obviously going to Demon Chocobo. It's just
What the
open.
hell?
I see.
It's the only correct choice.
I'm really enjoying the 2 worm 1 ooze encounters I'm getting.
Same. One day I'm going to get as lucky as Feral Pigman. Today is not the day though.
I don't know. I couldn't hear Ozzy at all. Like, I didn't hear anything, and I
You
did not
can't
have him
hear
muted.
anything I'm
so-
saying right now? How odd.
Don't know.
Yeah,
It was pretty epic because you
I double checked.
you talked right over him like 4 times and it was amazing.
I'm so
It's
sorry.
pretty
I'm so sorry. I really swear to God, I did not have him muted. I don't understand why I don't hear him.
It's okay. I'm only the guy that organized this entire event with help, but still.
Oh.
That guy, huh?
I see. Well, Ghoul, obviously I'm gonna win this, so...
He's on a good way now.
I'm gonna guess number 1.
Oh yeah, Farrell's definitely gonna win.
Yeah. He's got floor 6 banged and he's in the lead. I mean, what else can happen now?
Yeah.
I have faith in the champ.
Exactly.
Go John Cena.
100% manipulation, dude. Like, how do you
Yeah,
even
that's
fight
so
that?
You can't, exactly, like, it's just... It's too powerful.
I mean, that's why I'm retired, dude. Like, this doesn't actually mean anything. I still went out on top, and I'm doing this for charity, you know? So it's not like going into the record books or anything.
Wow, you really are John Cena.
This is a non-title match for charity, dude.
Change anything and now I can hear him. It doesn't make sense. Okay, whatever. sorry, Ozzy. I didn't hear you. I'm sorry.
The policy accepted.
Now I feel bad.
It's okay,
Yeah,
I was
it's a
laughing
word
my butt
encounter.
off. Oh, dude.
What the hell?
I don't think I believe you, actually.
Rarely seen.
I thought they were scripted to come in oozes.
I also thought that.
Agreed, Willigen? Agreed?
I swear to God.
Oh!
Saw him like his light blinking up. Okay, whatever. tell me if I'm talking overall.
Oh, I will. Don't worry.
It's fine, yeah. We got you.
But anyways, yeah. So another fight that is kind of well bad to fight is the ooze encounter, which Magus is fighting right now. So because the ooze have the very annoying trait to them that they actually reflect all magic cast towards them. So you basically have to kill them physically. Luckily, they are weak to bombs, but since you basically skipped getting the 3rd bomb upgrade as for now right now. But since you already have the weaker bombs, you don't do enough damage to kill them both, but it's still gonna be enough to kill them with an axe attack from Kaylee.
Yeah, the very unfortunate part is that Kaylee can one-shot most enemies before this tree with the axe. However, oozes do not belong to before this tree, so we need 1 extra attack from Benjamin.
There's not much to it. It's basically just a very big gauntlet of annoying enemies to fight, and yeah, a lot of time waste or gain is just coming from the encounters you will get. So if you have very good encounters, you can save a lot of time. So yeah, I think I just wanted to say, like, just to give you an idea, I think that's where my things fucked up here. So if you get a 2 worm encounter, the fight is basically over in 5 seconds because you just cast arrow and the fight is over. If you get 3 worms, you have to take an additional turn with Benjamin. So all the worms usually will get an additional turn, and will basically just waste like at least 15 seconds. If they all cast like Quake or stuff like that, it's gonna take a long time. So it really depends. If you get a good time, it basically all depends on the type of formations you will get throughout the entire dungeon.
Come on, Benjamin.
What? Does everything the slimes do hurt Benjamin? Because that's what I'm noticing.
It can. Very high rate to do so, unfortunately.
I don't think anything they've done to Benjamin has not been a crit.
Yo.
Hydro Acid always crits, actually, almost. The other things can crit, but it's like 50-50.
Two skeletons, again, they die very quickly to a single arrow.
Come on, Benjamin.
And actually, Mag is having caught up by quite a lot. And actually getting lucky with the arrow here. Benjamin going before all the worms is really, really
Shoutouts
rare.
to Genya23 for the strat.
Okay. So it works, and if it works, you will just save time. That's just, yeah, just a bit. That actually Mag is neck on neck with Feral here, and just not by too much behind, just a minute maybe.
Yeah, my
In
fights
terms of
have been
Mystic-
awesome, man.
In terms of Mystic with that, it's not much.
Oh my fucking god, dude. Can you hit anybody? I gotta stop that.
2 more fights.
Alright, then.
You're so used to
Actually-
descon.
I am.
Fight to go for both of them. And it's always going to be 3 skeletons here. And this is also a pretty dangerous fight because they can use you and Feral going for the risky strat here by using arrow on everyone, and this is the reason why this is very dangerous, because if they actually confuse Kaylee and then kill Benjamin, you're in a bad spot. He's going for the same strat as well, and actually getting lucky that the Doom Dance missed here. Pretty risky, but it got rewarded.
Easy game.
Cool.
Level 16 too. Awesome.
Time Feral just died to the normal encounter, so this can also happen very quickly.
Don't worry, I'll die to the boss a couple times.
Okay, so Mag is entering the Ghidra fight. Next boss fight. Luckily the boss is also very weak to arrow, and yeah, you basically just take out the single skeletons one by one and then just focus on the boss with arrow. Now the boss can sadly also petrify, which is pretty bad, and especially if the boss decides to petrify Kaylee, you just have to be lucky to not get one shot by the boss after that. Kind of a hope, like just attack and pray thing. It's up to you if you want to heal Benjamin if he gets attacked or not. It's usually the much safer way to heal him, because yeah, as I said, if he petrifies Kaylee, it's over. Mag's in a very good spot now.
Don't jinx it.
No, I don't care. Ghidra having failed the paralyzes and be good to go. Even if he petrifies now, he should be done with the next arrow.
Sweet. That might actually be gold
Amazing,
split.
amazing fight for Magus. That's like the best you can get, pretty much. Almost.
Actually, it's not a gold split, then, because it might start in the forest. That counts
Background, you
towards
see
my gold split.
the infamous Goon Kids.
By the way,
And-
with some runs to look forward to coming up soon, we have Kirby Nightmare in Dreamland by Mr. Shasta, so that's something to look forward to. And after that, we will be switching restreamers over to Voligen, who will take over for the next few hours of the night, and he will also be doing Fez after Shovel Knight Plague of Shadows. So we got 3 amazing runs coming up. So be sure to check them out.
Meantime, Big entering the Ghidra fight, so being behind just a couple minutes. And, another thing to know is that they actually go through it. They're not exiting immediately. They will get the Meteor spell, which is at least good for like the next part, and maybe also a little bit later for a couple enemies. Pretty good amount of damage, and yeah, just very powerful and easy to get.
The reason it's viable, really, is because it does speed up the next area by just a tiny little bit, and the boss is a little easier. However, that would break even roughly with not getting it. The reason is actually the floor 6 in Doom Castle gets sped up by the meteor as well. Just a tiny little bit, so it's actually viable to get.
So after that, they actually use this teleporting field, which, by the way, the item you have to buy for that, they also got, you don't buy it, but you find it. They also duped way earlier with the item duplication glitch. And they just get the upgraded bombs. And actually, you need these bombs just for one particular spot. This is the only reason why you have to get them there. Otherwise, you could just skip them completely. Meanwhile, Big having a, I want to say, fairly good fight.
It was okay. I
Being
died
done
a
with
lot.
it. Another Goon Kid. Also, an interesting side note from skipping the entire fire section, because the game doesn't recognize you having already beaten it, so everything is still clouded, like and like covered in clouds, basically. That's kind of funny to maneuver through the overworld map, because it hasn't loaded the next part yet, basically. Entering the... Actually, I forgot the name. Is it Doom Mountain? No, it's not Doom Mountain. It's... I don't even know the name.
Mount Gale.
Mount Gale, right. See, I'm getting a little bit rusty here. So yeah, Mount Gale, very short, well, fairly short section of the game. It only has like, I want to say 6 fights in it, and then the boss fight. Might be 7 actually. So the basic approach to almost, well, actually to all of these fights is having Kaylee cast a single arrow to take out a single enemy, and then cast Meteor with Benjamin. Always kill all the enemies. So the reason why you want to pick up the Meteor spell in the tree.
Interesting side note, if you're not level 16 yet, you cannot one-shot the vampires here with Meteor. So you gotta pay attention to that.
Do you know that?
It can happen, but it's very rare. Nice.
So Jenya,
another thing. Yeah.
if you can't remember the names of the areas, I think it means it's time for you to come back to the game.
Sounds
It's been too
accurate.
long.
Agreed.
I don't know about that. So another thing they bought while entering Windia is the Cupid's Locket, and it is an amulet which you automatically equip. So basically, accessories and like, all that stuff you automatically equip, as I already said before. And it gives you, the most important thing it does is gives you immunity to confusion, which these guys would normally do. And it helps a lot, and it's only like, gold doesn't really matter in this game at all, because you don't buy anything. Interesting sign, which I didn't say earlier before, because of the item duplication glitch, they also got themselves 255 magic seeds, so they have an infinite amount of magic seeds available. So they can just spam right out and just always have full magic for both characters. Okay, so Mag is entering the Dullahan fights. Dullahan is kind of, it can be quite nasty, but actually going for a pretty cool strat, and it actually seems to work out right now. So how this fight goes is you keep Kaylee on auto and just cast Meteor with Benjamin all the time, and you need 8 Meteors and an additional attack, or I think 2 additional attacks from Kaylee to kill him. And another thing that actually Magus found out a while ago is that you can actually use the heal spell on him, and if you use it, you just saw the little devil attacking there, and it can actually paralyze the boss and poison him. You can just give him various status ailments. If you're lucky, you can just keep him paralyzed the entire fight. However, the worst part about this boss is that he can cast Doom Dance, which is an instant death to every character it hits. And if it hits,
Oh my god.
Don't say anything, please.
an attack. I have to do it.
Alright, we did get the seed through.
Oh,
Okay, talk.
it instantly kills the character if it hits, and if it hits Kaylee, the fight is basically over because you cannot revive Kaylee. Getting lucky is that a couple of Dunans did not hit, but after all, it's a decent fight. Again, if you don't die in this fight in a marathon, it's a good fight. I want to say, if you don't die, it's good.
That goes for every boss, basically. It's like, if you don't die, it's a good fight.
True.
Yeah. It was actually a very good fight until he decided to troll me a bit with sleeping and critting, but, you know.
Feral should be good to go as well. Got him poisoned, which is also pretty cool. Doomerang is probably the strongest attack he can do outside of Doomdance, but he should be gone for good, and he is just like that.
I dodged 4 Doom Dances that battle.
Also entering the Dolan fight, so not behind by too much. I must say like 3 minutes. She just got a little bit lucky because he kept Kaylee on auto, which made Kaylee cast a spell, but they reflected. They're entering the best tower in the entire game.
Oh yes.
The home to this guy called Pazuzu. This is Pazuzu's tower, and this has a very special. I want to say it's in theory it's a cool thing. It has a cool theme to it. In theory, in theory, I would say it's a cool thing. So
Yeah, with the crit.
basically, Pazuzu is sitting on an elevator. So this tower has 7 floors, and the boss for this dungeon is sitting on an elevator. And if you approach the boss on any floor, he will just basically he will just say, "Okay, come and catch me if you can, and then we can fight." On every second floor, there are switches to shut the elevator off on that specific floor. What you have to do is basically you have to trap him inside 2 closed switches so that he cannot move anymore. Sadly, the way this works is that it is completely random on which floor he's gonna appear. So, first of all, he's gonna appear on every floor until you talk to him. So Magus is gonna talk to him right now.
God, dude.
And he does the 2 sword slash strategy, which is kind of risky. Usually you go for 1 sword
100%,
slash.
dude. 100%.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's usually you do 1 for
Yeah.
that for the guaranteed. So we'll see how that works out.
That-
Bold
as I
strategy.
said, it's it's completely random whether you get which floor you will get, and yeah. So he talked to him on floor 3, which means that he cannot be on floor 3 anymore. So it's completely random if he's on floor 1, 2, 4, 5, or 6. He cannot be on floor 7 because that's the highest floor and you cannot reach that point. So he's either on floor 1, 2, 4, 5, and 6. Now, the way you progress through this tower is basically you go to floor 1, 3, 5, 7 because you go through these stairways, so you skip every even floor, for now at least. So Farrell going for the single sword swing. That's just like a little bit side sweats here.
100%.
So you go from floor 1 to 3 to 5 to 7, and then you can just walk down back like to 6, from 7 to 6. So the best opportunity here is to have him on floor 6, because there's a switch on floor 6, and since he cannot go on floor 7, if he's on floor 6 and you use the switch, he cannot go down anymore, and you can fight him immediately because he has no way to escape. This is by far the best outcome you can have for the entire tower. The second best thing is actually floor 5. It's floor 1 actually.
Yep.
We'll talk to that if they don't get floor 6, but I'm pretty sure everyone's getting floor 6.
Sounds about right.
Mm-hmm.
I think Big died on Dolhan. Did you? I'm pretty sure you have to.
Man, you're not watching?
That was a good thing.
Good commentary, man.
I'm sorry. But I'm pretty sure you died.
Getting
You
friggin'
shouldn't be.
owned.
You're getting murdered, yeah. See, it's still on it. Actually, yeah, I must having a really bad time, sorry. Let's keep our focus on Big for a while. So you can see the devil there, that's the heal spell. So if you're lucky, you can just paralyze him, you will not get any turns. And I think it worked out for him right now. So in the end it worked, but yeah, I think getting slaughtered a little bit there. But it's okay. It also might happen that Feral and Magus are getting the infamous, I will not say it, but if Big gets the other thing, then yeah.
It's even again, yes. In fact, actually, Big might be leading by 5 minutes then.
So
Fantastic.
just to give you a rough idea, I would say that the worst floor you can get is floor 2. If
Yep.
you actually get floor 2 compared to floor 6, I want to say it's like roughly, like at least
10
10
and a half
minutes.
to
I want to, yeah, I want to say 10 to 11 minutes. That's like about right. So that is insane. And basically, if you're at a certain time, like especially if you have the time like Magus, if you do not get floor 6, it's an instant reset because you just cannot make up the time. Because even the second best alternative, like having floor 1 is the second best, but even that is like 4 minutes slower, 4 to 5 minutes slower than the best one. So there is no way to recover from this if you still would go for a better time, which I don't think Magus is actually gonna do, but
He still wants to get sub 150. This game's not dead yet.
I guess fighting the probably the worst enemies in this dungeon or this tower. It's the manticores. I think that they call them manticores. Basically the upgraded version of the Sphinx. They have pretty strong attack. The fireball is pretty strong, and they can. The worst thing they can do is petrify. Will still not have an immunity to, and I am pretty confident that 3 runners they will never have an immunity to it, right?
Nope.
Sure.
Of course not.
Dude,
Of course
what? The stairway which Feral is in right now is probably this is like the worst part because you have to fight 3 of them in a row, and all of them are 3 manticores, and you can cast life on them. Instantly kills them, but yeah, if stuff like this happens, if Benjamin gets petrified, you're kind of in a bad spot. Magus as well, it's probably also really bad that Katie actually got blinded, so he cannot attack
Fine.
physically right now, but
We're fine, dude.
he's
Genius
just he's using my strats where you just attack physically. Katie will just hit like
3 out of 4, dude. 3 out of 4.
in my opinion, yeah, I'm just saying you can just still keep going. That's what I always keep saying. He didn't want to believe me, but I think he believes me right now.
I do believe you. It's ridiculous how often you can actually, especially with a weapon like the axe, who should miss like initially a lot already. It's pretty ridiculous what kind of hit rate you can put out with blind on you. Pretty retarded.
Spells have a 100% hit chance regardless, so you don't have to cure the blindness right away if you're just gonna cast spells with Kaylee anyways. He did it.
The only
regardless,
spells
but-
that do have a hit rate are the curative spells. If you target them on enemies, they do have a hit
Yeah,
rate. Small things.
exactly. If you target an enemy, it's important. That actually gets affected by blindness. So if you're blind, then you have a very low chance to actually hit with exit or whatever if you cast on an enemy.
Missing, dude.
God.
What is this?
What's going on over there, Bick?
Just the small stuff, man.
Yo, Kaylee missed when she was blind. Explain.
Oh, I think your card is broken.
Because of the one sword slash manipulation. Duh.
Dang. I didn't realize it would mess with the Kaylee hitting chances.
Or Benjamin. Ah, didn't know.
So, Magus is fighting the last enemy, then he's gonna enter floor 6, and we will soon find out if he did the correct amounts of sword slashes.
I did. Don't worry.
Can't wait, man.
What life mist? Are you kidding? You missed again? What?
What? Okay. It's new.
8, dude.
What did you get?
I just life
Oh.
a
Feral just
Manticore
got
for 8
some-
damage.
Girl just got completely wrecked by that.
What
That was
since
very
when
unfortunate.
Chimera and Mages go before Kaylee two turns in a row?
Just
Like,
very, very rare. It's very unfortunate. Okay, so in the meantime, Big is on his way to the 7th floor. I think this is the last fight of the stairway. And Mag is just grabbing the strongest spell in the entire game for Benjamin, which is the Flare spell. Just does a very huge amount of damage. It's just very strong, and it's very convenient to pick it up right here. So he's gonna fight 2 more enemies, and we're gonna find out if he's gonna get floor 6. And you all probably know what to do, so if he does not get floor 6, you just spam a baby cries.
Baby rage.
Baby rage is all, dude, what am I saying, dude? Baby rage is all the way.
Oh my god, can you hit
I'm
his life,
I'm sorry, I'm just
please,
looking at Big right now, and I'm just
dude? Give me a
like
break, dude.
classic Mystic Quest.
I'm gonna die.
Double
Mystic
queen.
Quest is attack for me as well. So this is very unfortunate for Big, and this is the reason why these fights are the absolute worst in the entire tower.
I don't understand.
Dude, the 2
I
sword
told
slash
you.
threats did not work.
I'm telling you, man.
Hey guys, you guys looking for a donation?
Go for it.
Yep.
If
Alright.
if Jenya can hear you, of course.
And I can
Yeah, that remains to be seen. We have $20 from Stephen Paul. Maybe his username is Askaboo. He says, I hope this goes well and raises more funds than the small amount I can afford. Best of luck to you. So, thank you. Didn't see a donation incentive attached to it, so if you're in chat, you can let us know there.
This is not good, dude.
Okay, so yeah, we can see that it's also not floor 5 either, which is not necessarily a bad thing, but
Not necessarily. Exactly.
necessarily. So we're gonna see. Floor 4 would be the second worst floor. Would probably lose you about 7 minutes, I wanna say, over floor 6. And you know, if he's not on floor 4, that's the best part because you're kind of in, like, it's like heaven and hell at the same time. Carol,
Well, now I'm just confused.
not with the 1 sword slash strat as well.
100%. Where did you make a
This
mistake?
is Big's time to shine.
Things are going weird, man. I think it's this cart.
Huh? Who called? Somebody in chat called
Ah.
floor 4 earlier.
So we
Props to
got
that guy.
Magus floor 4.
Floor 4. I see.
Not really good, but not the worst. As I
Hey,
said,
I'll take it.
getting floor 2 would lose you another 5 minutes. Basically, getting floor 2 means that you have to just cross the entire tower like twice. you basically you also have to fight every single enemy. It's just really tedious. It just loses you so much time.
I see.
Okay, not floor 5 either for Feral. So we're gonna
He
see
can still
what
make up time
Big
to me,
is
though,
gonna get.
so-
And just to give you an idea, if Big gets floor 6 right here, he will be ahead. I'm pretty sure he will be leading. Yeah, things can change for the good and the bad at every point in this game right now.
I can't wait to get floor 2 and finish an hour from now.
Ah, you got this, dude.
Magus has to do right here because he's on floor 4. This would actually be pretty cool if he would not escape, but since the floors are the switches to sealing off the floors are only on floor 2, only on the even floors, so it's floor 2, 4, and 6. He's gonna hit the switch on floor 4 so that that Pazuzu is guaranteed to go up. So he will always go up to floor 5 because that's the only chance he has to go like left to. And yeah, he will just be stuck on floor 5, so he has to go all the way back to floor 7 and go all the way back to floor 5 from there, so it is still kind of a
Thanks for
detour.
reminding me.
Yeah, sorry. Meanwhile though, Feral with the big decision, is it heaven or is it hell? We will find out very
dude,
soon.
don't-
So this is the best
Don't
part
get
because
floor 2, dude.
you kind of have the you kind of have the hopes to get floor 1 because that would be fairly quick,
Can't catch
but
me.
we'll find out very soon.
Yeah, if he gets floor 1, he actually catches up on me.
Big also close to getting the reveal on floor 6. So Feral will just skip the switch right now and will head to floor 2 right away, and he has to fight the single enemy to find out what his fate is right now. Meantime, Magus is going back up and going straight to the boss. He has to fight a couple enemies before that first, but he will just have a short walking section right here. On stream, we just saw him getting the flare spell. I'm just gonna see it, and
Oh
it is
2 marathons in a row, dude.
Oh man, at least you know how to do it now.
he hit the floor 2.
no.
Oh,
100% success.
100% floor 2, dude.
Ah, dude, that's
A
all.
lot of baby rage right here.
Oh, I should probably heal.
Alright, this is the moment.
Good luck, man. You could actually get
I
this.
hope you get floor 6. So that, yeah, you're in the
I
lead
did
then.
not. I was hoping
No floor 6 either.
I needed it. I didn't get it.
Well, there's still Zoo.
Oh yes.
It's a lot of RNG to go. Don't worry. Okay, so the absolute worst case happened for Feral. So what he has to do right here, he has to hit the switch on floor 2. Now the thing is,
Wow.
because he actually skipped the switch on floor 4, he has to go back up and hit the switch on floor 4. Having done that, he
Normally,
has
what
to
you
go
have to do on floor, if you get floor 2 is just reset the game.
as well.
Yeah.
That is true.
He's gonna hit the switch on floor 4 as well, so...
Alright, I have floor 5. It's not terrible.
Hey, floor 5.
You're
Better than
certainly
floor
happy
4.
I don't know. You already went down half the thing. I think you guys might be even, actually.
Yeah, I still have plenty to go, but it's not a terrible.
5 is just barely better than floor 4. Yeah, I think you just save 2 fights over floor 4
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
like a
nice
short
pop there.
short text animation. Okay, so Magus already entered the Pazuzu fight. Okay, so Pazuzu is fairly straightforward for the most part. There's just one thing that he does from time to time. I mean, he does have pretty strong attacks. He can also petrify, which is the worst thing he could do. But he also throws up a magic barrier. So he uses, I think at the first time it's hit at the 5th turn, and then every 3 turns, or after every 2 turns. He just goes into a magic barrier mode for 1 entire turn, where he would throw back or basically reflect any magic spell towards him. And luckily, if he enters this state, you're guaranteed to go before him, so you can safely just cast spells and guarantee to hit him. So in the meantime, while his magic shield is up, you basically just use it to use cure or to replenish your magic. You can see at Magus right here, he's gonna go into his normal mode again. You can start casting spell spin again. At this point, you're just casting Flare with Benjamin, does a ton of damage, and Arrow with Kaylee.
We got another donation here from Daniel. Says, Dan God of Thunder here. Here's to good luck during the marathon. I'll try to bring in reinforcements. Put 40 to naming the dog Sniff, and 15 to naming the boy Will Be Yelled At. Which is very fitting for Meta Sigma's run. And that was $55. So thank you again, Daniel.
That's a lot.
It's a Magus with a very straightforward fight here. I want to say it was actually a pretty good fight.
Pretty good, yeah.
Sure, bad things happened here. Right here. I don't think it's that much. I think it should be there. Yeah, okay. Very good fight from Magus.
We did it.
A lot of Mystic Quest to go, so nothing is over here yet. Big just got hitting the 4th floor switch, and you can see over Magus's floor 4. He doesn't have to talk to Pazuzu, but I mean the outcome is the same. They will both fight Pazuzu on the 5th floor. But yeah, if you get the 4th floor, you just have to fight 2 more battles and basically have to talk to him so that he escapes to floor 5. So that's why floor 5 is slightly faster than 4. No, I really want to say that Beryl is just slightly behind Big right now. Sadly, since he's on floor 2, he can Pazuzu can still escape to floor 3, so he has to go back again and use the grappling hook to. Oh, he actually. Okay, you go this way. Okay, it actually makes sense. You didn't think of that. I think this is actually faster. Yeah, makes sense.
Well, not that anyone ever actually plays out floor 2, so who really cares what's faster?
Okay, so actually Ferrell's still being a little bit ahead of Big here, but Big about to enter the fight as well. So very close between those two. Magus with a quite sustainable lead right now, which can still change very quickly.
Oh yes.
I want to say like Magus is probably like 5 to 6 minutes ahead right now. All the fights will go for both of them though. Magus got Ruben again for the first time in this game, but in theory it is the second time because we skipped the first part completely. He's still pretty useless, but he can cast White, which is kind of good. In some situations, he's gonna run away until he gets 2 Thanatos. This encounter right here. He can just protect his Benjamin with Room and then just cast Flare, and they will both die. So he's again keeping room only for 5 battles in this ghost ship. That's the entire thing to it. And luckily you will have to fight more battles with Ruben.
People always say that Ruben misses a lot, but after speedrunning this game for a while, basically every character misses a lot. And
Yeah.
not
True.
even only Ruben. But that's what he, like, what his trademark is in most people's eyes. I don't know.
It's like a truck, but yeah, he likes to miss.
Yo. Oh my god.
At the fight, Farrell's getting trolled here really badly. Oh, okay, so... Oh my god. Okay, Pazuzu doing his petrification stuff over and over again, and it's really bad. And just remember, we couldn't pick up the life spells, so if Kaylee dies, the fight is just over at this point. You absolutely have to make sure that Kaylee survives everything.
I'm gonna die here.
I guess, wow, they actually use petrification. That's
On Ruben,
also not
they
very.
were faster. Yeah, I'm dead.
Yeah, this is probably dead. Yeah. So yeah, you can see even though enemies control you, you're not safe.
Dude, again faster. Please, what the hell?
Can I go in?
So Farrell got Pazuzu on his final form and actually, yeah, okay. Good thing having your partner on auto is that the partner actually reacts to a certain situation. So you just saw Katie using auto, and Pazuzu and killing Benjamin actually, like, the automatic status just switches it right away. So the automatic AI basically recognized that you're dead, and even though you were not dead before at the start of the turn, but she will still cast life in that situation. This is why auto is actually quite good in this format. Will get your turn off. Big actually making a short mistake. I will hope that this still goes down. This was
forgot she was
actually
on
a
auto.
very big mistake.
Yeah, that's really bad.
And
Oh!
this flare will kill him, and I think it actually did. Oh my god, I cannot believe this actually worked.
What?
What happened?
Sounds amazing.
Okay, so that's like the clutchest thing ever. So, okay, so Big forgot that Katie is still on auto, and Katie actually used arrow while he still was in his magic barrier thing. So Katie just one-shot herself, and he got lucky that he did not get killed by Pazuzu there. He could have used an attack where he just couldn't survive it, but the flare just was barely enough damage to kill Pazuzu.
Nice
So
one.
that was very clutch. Let's just call that big clutch. That's good.
Amazing.
Not
And
quite
that
as
is really
much
bad.
as Water Kill, but
What a speed run, dude.
definitely up there.
Mag is entering the final section of the game with the final dungeon, Doom Castle, which has amazing music, which we cannot hear, but still. We're just gonna come in there shortly with Feral after that.
Just imagine it's good music.
Imagine it's amazing. Okay, so we got Phoebe again, and this is the last time Magus got Phoebe. This is the last time you actually get to change your partner, so you will keep Phoebe until the final boss. So there is an item you can pick up. Actually, I'm not sure if Magus is gonna pick it up. Okay, Magus is a good speedrunner. That is good to know. I'm pretty sure the
I
others
should
will
just go to
follow
the
him.
item now.
Okay, so there is this item called the Aegis Shield, which you could get right here. Also, by the way, this is the only time this is the part where I talked about, this is the only time you will need the throwing bombs. And this is the only reason why you actually have to get them, because you can throw them. There's no way to destroy that obstacle right there. So Magus going into the Skullrose Vex fight, very easy because the game developers actually reused the boss sprites from earlier on, but I'm pretty sure they just forgot to give it a immunity flag to exit. my theory is that they just copied it from earlier, and the earlier boss you don't have exit yet, so they just didn't put it in yet. So when they copied it, they just forgot to add it. So you can just either exit it, or you can just use the grappling hook, which is gonna inflict death on them, death on him, petrification. Yeah, there's this item called the Aegis Shield, which is gonna, like, the best part about it is that it makes you immune to petrification. And let me just say that
Totally
very
unnecessary.
very soon, every enemy is gonna be able to cast petrification. Every normal enemy and bosses as well. Some parts. This item is very useful, but yeah, you need like a minute to get it. So in the optimal way, you're just gonna save some time, because if you're not getting petrified, then you just save the time. But I mean, probably in the long shot, you should probably get it, because like generally speaking, I want to say it saves you time. But yeah, since dying here is not, it's like, of course lose your time, but you don't have to like redo parts of the dungeon, so it's like hit or miss basically. We will see how it turns out. So yeah, basically Doom Castle is just a recollection of certain area types and also according bosses. So we just got Skullrus Rex with the sand section. Now we're gonna fight the remake of the Ice Golem in the ice section. And since they used the sprite, they just forgot to add the exit flag, the immunity to exit flag to the boss. So you can just exit the boss, and easy as that. The boss fight can still be pretty bad, because it has two of these demon dogs like to it, or the Cerberus. I don't know how they call it actually.
Cerberus, yeah.
And the thing is, most of the time the boss will act first, or well, the thing is with Phoebe you will probably just use a single fire on a single Cerberus, so he dies instantly. But the boss will get a turn before you, and he actually can petrify. He can use petrification. He can use a stone block, which will instantly kill. Just wanted to say Maxim, dude. Benjamin. I've been playing the same game too much. I'm sorry. So we'll see how this fight will go. Ideally,
I've heard tale of someone losing 3 or 4 minutes on this boss.
oh yeah. Okay, so
Don't know
that's
how,
probably one
don't know
of
how,
the
but-
best things he can do. Use Thunder on Phoebe, that doesn't do anything. But yeah, okay, so that's a very good fight. Unless, okay, perfect fight.
Yeah, perfect.
The
Not
thing
perfect
is,
because
Cerberus,
Quake
yeah,
was range. But
yeah, but yeah, it's like you cannot ask for more than this.
I can.
Also, the Cerberus, they can also use petrification, so yeah.
And
Bad
they
stuff
have
can always happen.
also instant death.
Infuse Phoebe. There's a couple things they can do.
You can also miss exit twice on the boss in a row.
That also happens, yeah.
Also real strategy, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so heading into the fire section. Go, there's the first instance of petrification, but actually that wouldn't have saved you with the Aegis ship because it was on Phoebe. Okay, so Feral going into it, now we can hear the awesome music.
Oh shit, dude. Excuse me.
Magus almost stuck in the infinite.
I dodged paralysis twice. That's pretty good, actually.
Oh my god. That was quite a shadow fight.
pretty confident both of them will skip Mega Shield as well. Than myself for being amazing.
I haven't looked back since I started doing that.
I've also kept my eyes forward, but I'm usually crying when I do that.
Another big thing is not only do we get like immunity to petrification, but also to paralysis, and paralysis can be even worse because you can get stuck in a battle for infinity, which almost happened to me there. Go! Thank you.
Okay, so Magus is gonna fight the last fight before the boss and then get to the Twin Wyvern. So this is like the remake version of the dual head Hydra, which is well we skipped it entirely, so that's okay. Boss can be quite dangerous because he actually casts a very strong fire breath, which does a lot of damage, and can two-shot Phoebe.
He can one-shot Phoebe if he crits.
Okay, if it crits, yeah, okay, if it crits, it can one-shot Phoebe. So yeah, spells from bosses can crit here. Not crit for you, but for bosses it can. So yeah, the breath does a lot of damage, and it will instantly kill...
Feral, please. He stabbed my wyvern, dude.
That's what's going to be happening in the fight, is all I'm saying.
Stabbed my wyvern.
Once you get the twin-head wyvern to a once he gets his first sprite change, and I think you need to do a little bit more damage than that, but once he loses his second head, he will stop using fire breath. You've done I want to say it's like 5,000 damage maybe, maybe 6,000 damage. He will stop using that. You're just much safer, but he can still do some, yeah. Okay, oh wow, he got actually lucky that his paralysis wore off immediately. Okay, that is bad though.
Yeah, same result, yeah. Whatever. I got through the dangerous phase. He can still crit one shot, but we should be able. Why did I even say anything, dude?
Oh, wow. He still has a chance to kill it. Actually, I think this might be enough.
Why did I open my mouth? Like, why can't I just be quiet? That was ridiculous. 1,200. What the hell, man? Nice bear hunt.
Yeah, very, very costly death.
That hurts really hard.
That's like 2 minutes waste.
Uh-huh. That hurts especially since I was basically through the fight already.
Meanwhile, Feral entering the Stone Golem fight. Let's see how that will work out.
Yeah.
Okay, Thunder as well. That is good. The Stone... Oh, that is really bad. Okay, that is even worse. Okay, we will see a single flare will still do the trick. He just has to dodge a lot of stuff here, and this might actually be really bad. Oh no!
Damn you, Genya! Inventing the strat.
Alright, so we should be through the hardest part of this fight, and now... Alright, I think we did it this time.
What did the man hit? Oh god! Feral, please! I'm so sorry!
No!
I'm so sorry! Meanwhile, Big also getting destroyed by the Stone Golem, dude. They are both... Oh my god, they're both getting annihilated. Oh my god, did it kill him?
Ladies and gentlemen, Welcome to Mystic Quest. The truest of speakers. We're only the best.
Oh my god, I'm gonna
guys.
die. I'm gonna die. I'm gonna fucking die.
Oh my god.
Both getting atrocious.
Yo,
stolen.
I think I can.
Oh my
I think I
god,
can
oh my
win.
god. Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. Oh, my
Phoebe,
god.
some
Oh,
mirac-
yes,
Vic,
dude!
for some miraculous reason, still surviving with 3B, while Feral just getting destroyed. But
Oh
Oh
both
my god,
are getting
okay, I
destroyed.
only died like 4 times. It's all good.
Dude.
Two of the most horrible fights I've ever seen. That's pretty. And it again happened to Feral. I cannot believe this.
Oh man. Amazing.
Really insane. Okay, Magus arrived at the true floor 6 here.
It's the real floor
Point-
6.
At this point, every battle is a potential death threat. 'Cause every enemy can just use petrification or paralyzes or just annoy you in every possible way.
They won't do that though, right?
Reflect. My guess is the programmers actually just copied the Ice Golem because it's the remake version, just a different sprite. And since you're not supposed to cast Exit in the first for the Ice Golem fight, they probably did not add an immunity to Exit. And my guess is that they just copied it and just put different status, like status and hit points and everything on it. And they just forgot to add the Exit immunity. So that's just my guess. And it's actually kind of accurate. Okay, so yeah. See Magus here, just barely getting the white off here.
I'm cruising through this, it's amazing.
True. Easy peasy. It's actually gonna, he's not gonna heal, that's pretty ballsy.
Healing, please.
This will turn out. Quake, and actually, this... Okay, got the white off.
We're fine, dude, please.
It's ballsy, but okay, it worked out in the end. The instance where Meteor is really good, because actually they're not immune to, or they're not strong against it.
Yeah, the Chimeras are really annoying because they're resistant to fire, which Flare is actually fire elemental, so you can't use Flare to kill them. Ew. 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 Oh,
Actually hit, so that is... Oh, okay. Yeah, well, that was a quick death. You cannot complain much about this. And this death would also have happened with the Aegis shield, by the way, because it was the Doom Dance, which you did not get immunity to. Okay, it hit again. Nice.
Nice, right? Alright, check the stone gas from the guy. Just Paragas.
Meantime, both Feral and Big entering the Twin-Head Wyvern fight.
Good luck, guys. I'll be waiting at Zoo for the next 10 minutes.
It's still not over. Like in the perfect scenario, Magus is like 10 minutes away, like almost close to the end. So that's also really bad. Phoebe gets confused, and that's a really dangerous spot to be in. Okay, so let's see in the meantime. Feral getting the Fire Breath, which again is really bad because it just barely does enough damage to two-shot Phoebe. That is the bad part about it. Okay, yeah.
Don't
This
worry.
is the thing.
I got this.
Yeah. You can do this in a safe way because you can possibly protect Phoebe with Benjamin, so that Benjamin is guaranteed to get hit from the if you cast it. That's the safe way, but yeah, you, in the good way you lose a turn there. Oh, Big getting actually the crit from the Fire Breath.
Ugh.
You can still
getting
get
so
out of this. Better for Magus as well though, because he's getting paralyzed by the Chimera.
That's fine. I actually
He's
saved time
still
with that
fine.
because White is faster than
Oh, yeah.
Meteor.
Going first, man.
Okay, Big seems to be out of this, of the worst part at least.
Hey. Don't do that. Don't do that.
And don't worry,
Time for the bird.
that's gonna be very dangerous. Oh god. I guess entering the Zoo fight. Zoo is just the upgraded version of Pazuzu. Just he got a much stronger attack, but he also got a very bugged attack, which is called Psych Shield. Basically, this is his form of. Oh god, okay, that is bad.
Good start.
So it's the Psych Shield is a bugged attack. It's supposed to be his magic defense, but for some reason when they did this version, it did not. It had like implemented as a bugged attack, and it only does 1 damage. This is the best attack he can do. But he can
This took
petrify.
me 4
He can
turns to
just
kill the Chimera.
he can cast Doom Dance, and this is very dangerous because this fight is gonna drag out for a long time. And if he casts Doom Dance on Phoebe and it actually hits, well, it's game over.
Cast Thunder.
Both Feral and Big getting rid of the Twin-Head Wyvern. Big being a little bit ahead here, just slightly, but things are still not overly. Like, this can still go anyway. Magus is absolutely not through this. Trust me, we have seen like 15-minute zoo fights already. We've seen it all.
Yes.
This is a very easy infinite.
Oh boy. Take 2?
Looking good
Same.
for both Feral and Big, both getting petrified. This is absolutely atrocious. So this is like some of the worst luck ever. Oh my god, Big! No!
Take 3?
In the meantime, it looks like Magus is through Zoo.
Ha ha ha! Ha ha! Ha ha!
Oh my.
Please be quiet.
Oh my
Trying to get you off here.
god! This fight's too
Yeah,
hard,
just
man.
trying to jinx everything. Meanwhile, Big
Yeah,
is
thank you, Jenya.
stuck.
Thank you, Jenya.
Big is stuck in the infinite. I think Magus is still gonna kill him though.
Take 4?
Wow, he okay. Yeah.
Lucky for you, my friend.
Everything's fine. Everything's fine. I'm just sorry for Big right now. He's just stuck in the absolute infinite.
The 3 Cerebus fight.
No, it's 2 Chimera and 1 Cerberus.
Yeah, that one's really.
I guess it's
my God,
basically
I did
through
it,
this.
dude.
The last boss can still troll you a little bit, but it's definitely not gonna be enough to.
Dude, that is not a big choke, dude. I didn't do anything, man.
Exactly, you didn't get the Aegis Shield. Big joke.
Ah.
Good point.
Okay, so Magus about to enter the final boss, the Dark King, and debatably after all this marathon of ridiculous hard bosses, actually really easy. This can be a little bit annoying if you cast Paralyzes on Benjamin, but you can actually use Cure. Dude, don't worry, man, you got this. You can actually cast Cure on him, and it will overflow his health. I think it's kind of weird, but it has to do with his current health point, and with you healing him just for an amount of like percentage base that it underflows and that it actually damages him.
Yeah, the thing is, the game can only handle 32,000, up to 32,000. This guy has more health than 32,000 though, so if you try to heal him, it actually reverts back and damages him instead.
Oh my god. Please stop.
Additional phase. Get ready on the timer or whatever. And time. I
So
don't
if you tell you the time?
actually. Huh? What's the
Just saying,
time?
I don't know.
My timer said 2:07:29.
Oh god.
Hey, you beat yesterday. No problem, dude.
It's true.
Anyways, though,
Yeah. That's why I didn't run a timer, by the way. I just played the game.
Yeah, I don't have a
I
timer
am
on either.
running against my splits right now. It's awesome.
Why would you ever do that, man?
I was ahead until Pazuzu.
This is a joke. This is a joke. This is a joke. This is a joke. This is a joke.
Okay, this is like the apps. Like
Are you still in the fight?
I have seen bad stuff, but seeing big fights right here on this floor is wow. That's something. That's something.
I guess if I mean, I lost 2 minutes to Ice Golem because I died at the very last turn, and I lost 2 minutes to Twin Wyvern because I died on the very last turn. So 207 is not all that bad, I guess.
Definitely.
Wow, what a first turn.
Oh, in the zoo fight.
Yeah.
Not very good right now. So this is the thing we've talked about. So he casts Doom Dance on Phoebe and it hit, and that's an instant game over because you cannot revive Phoebe. Oh, Big can easily still catch up here if Pharaoh gets very bad luck. And oh my god. Petrified here.
Man, this game's amazing.
Parallel. Oh my god. This is terrible. Not getting the Aegis shields. Oh wow.
Totally paid off. Totally paid off.
Getting crit here as well. It is very bad. And very unfortunate. Paralyzed again. I cannot believe this. That is so unfortunate.
Please,
You
dude.
got out of there. Oh my god.
I'm getting like the perfect beginning.
No!
Immediately.
And this is the infinite we've all been talking about. So Big entering the zoo fight, and they are both neck on neck here. And this start for Big as well. He again gets Doom Dance here.
Don't psych shield me, man. Kill me, dude.
Insane.
Just kill me. Someone. Kill someone. Kill me.
Oh my god. Pharaoh again with the Doom Dance on Phoebe. That is so horrible. Oh.
I think these last 2 runs are the game just telling me to stop running it. Cause I had a
If you've ever thought about
Zoo
this,
was having his way with me at DeuceCon also.
No. No!
Big dancing with the Doom right here, successfully so far. Feral not so successfully.
Oh man. Neck and neck.
It's looking good for both right now. Said the Psych Shield attack is the best you can get because it only does 1 damage to both.
Sometimes only to 1. For whatever reason.
It's just bugged. It's just, yeah. Doesn't
Very
make any-
strange. All
Oh god!
Yeah, he can either multi-target or single target it. It's like it's not supposed to be in the attack pool because Psych Shield is obviously the attack used to like mirror basically. And,
It needs
yeah.
insane luck right now at this point. It needs insane luck, and he think I did. Oh my god, that is insane, dude. Okay, so He got his Phoebe killed by the Doomlands, but he managed to get 2 flares off, which was just barely enough to kill Zoot, so that was insane. Really close. But
Classic.
very clutch. Let's see if Feral actually can pull it ahead right here. Okay, so this is actually not over yet, so this is all depends on...
Dark King,
This
yeah.
this is actually gonna get down to Dark King. If he decides to actually... I'm just gonna jinx all the way, I don't care. If he's actually gonna decide to paralyze Big Benjamin right here, this might actually be really, really close.
Or he could
Dark King
heal.
Dark King can also crit Phoebe on the first turn and kill her on the second, which is also
Yeah.
very bad.
He can also cast... If he casts a
Yeah.
heal, if he casts his life drain on the second attack, it also wastes a lot of time, like 10 seconds, because he gets an additional transformation. So we will see Big entering the Dark King fight. Also, by the way, Dark King has an amazing music, so be prepared for
Oh no. Oh no.
that. Should he crit?
Oh no.
He crit Phoebe.
Okay, so but he still think he should be fine
Shut up, Jenya.
until crit as well.
Oh no!
No, dude.
God, don't! Oh my God, he missed the cure. This is gonna be
Please,
so close.
please.
Oh my God. Use the cure. That's actually gonna be an additional transformation. This is gonna be super close. This will all depend on what
Really
Feral is gonna get.
Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god.
And
Time.
time for me. What the? You were tied.
Insane, dude. Insane. I don't have any words for this. What? Did that just happen?
I hate this game so much. dude.
Seems like an ending that I should watch on the VOD.
Photo finish. Amazing.
Yeah. See, this is how optimized this game is. The runners finish within seconds of each other.
Exactly. This game is the best speed, the best race game ever.
So
it all
why
comes
this
down
game
to the
is
final seconds.
This is why the game is the best speed game ever made. Insane finish. That was pretty nuts. I don't know what the time was now, but
I have a 2:15 flat timer.
barely sub 2:15. So yeah,
Ridiculous.
Mystic Quest there. Very, very good race still. Even though Max pulled ahead a little bit, but yeah. Intense
So
still.
every one of you out there should definitely learn this game.
Agreed.
For
It is,
sure.
as you can
Agreed.
see, a lot of fun. There's a great speed running guide out there. Game Facts.
Glorious game facts.
Self.
I wonder who did it.
Overthrew the previous champion John Cena.
Just doing
So,
the
yeah,
right thing, you know? You gotta drop the belt before you leave forever, you know? That's how it goes. That's how it goes in the business, man. I'm a gracious champion.
That you are. That you are. So I don't know what's next.
Kirby Nightmare in Dreamland, I think, is the next one.
By Mr. Shasta, honestly.
Yep.
Cool. Cool.
So yeah, thank you for having us. We had fun, I guess.
I'm not sure if I qualify that as fun.
It's always fun to race and
Fun.
tell each other about the misfortune that befalls us.
Yeah, it's definitely a better
Exactly.
race game
Yeah.
because everybody
sure.
gets screwed equally.
I couldn't have asked for
For
a
sure.
better race, actually.
Yeah, that's Mystic Quest in a nutshell.
No, thank you guys. That was amazing. Glad you could do this for the marathon.
Yeah, of course. And I mean, it seems to be doing really great. So keep those donations
and despite
rolling, guys.
being
Even if we hit the goal.
By Jenja, good commentary.
Oh yeah,
I have a
thank you,
donation
Kenya,
comment.
for,
Well, actually, Twin Wed Wyvern. Thanks for having us, Ozzy.
Yeah, thanks for having us, and make sure to
It's
keep
all
watching,
appreciated
guys.
on my part, trust me. Alright, guys, next up we got Mr. Shasta playing Kirby's Nightmare in Dreamland for the Game Boy Advance. Stay tuned.
GG, friends.
GG.
GG.
Raise your